The Department of CSE, IIT KGP, will give the second lecture. And I also invite Professor Dr. give the welcome address to the audience.
Professor Ajoy K Roy, Professor Emeritus, Research, and ex-Professor Department of Mechanical Engineering, IIT Kanpur. Professor Professor, Department of Computer Science and Engineering, IIT Kanpur. Professor Head of the Department of Humanity and Social Science Research, and my colleagues, Professor of Humanities and Social Sciences, and my departmental colleague, Professor who was the pioneer of this symposium. Other faculty members of this university, their students, participants, ladies and gentlemen. Very good afternoon to all. It's indeed a pleasure on behalf of the Department of Information Technology and Department of Humanities and Social Sciences. I welcome you all in this half-day symposium on philosophy of science, rethinking technology. In fact, organizing seminar, workshop, conference, or summer school is not new to our department. We regularly organize or arrange. What is new here or something different as far as the theme of this symposium is concerned in respect to the all previous, the philosophy of science and rethinking technology. Honestly speaking, I could not. I'm a person probably having a very poor and limited knowledge about the theme of this symposium. Keeping aside the term philosophy and rethinking, remaining on the left science and technology, right? Science and technology. Like many of us, we recognize the others, or sometimes in a conflicting form, who is the boss? Or it's something like science and technology, they are so tightly coupled, interlinked or interwoven so tightly, it is absolutely meaningless to separate them. Or might be something like in the heart problem or segregation. But it's true that along with the progress and growth of the science and technology, it has also role in shaping the society, along with some sort of change in economy or human life, common people life, and sometimes human value. So, in this, that apart from this progress, it has an influence, effect, or impact on social state. Generally, technology-driven science produce or yields or results, innovate things, may save times but not energy. And sometimes these are not pointed directly these issues must be properly addressed, or they also say that how an educated minds of science and technology, religious thoughts or beliefs, even unwilling mind, how sometimes is influenced by family or counterclaims. It is absolutely relevant and I think important that young engineering and science students must have a thought-provoking process. They should at least think of life. They should be aware of this. Ultimately, the science and technology progress has a significant role in shaping the society, irrespective of the time span. We are fortunate indeed to have with us our Honorable Vice Chancellor. It's my personal opinion. I mean, wide and in-depth knowledge in diverse domains: science, technology, literature, philosophy, language. And I definitely believe that you will be spellbound by his talk. This brief, maybe video level address. We are also fortunate to have with us Professor Subhasis Banerjee, who is an excellent in domain of social science, teacher of sociology, and it's my again personal opinion, having a good understanding, listening, and analyzing ability of the place of science and technology in the platform of society or societal impact. My roommate in department, we share the same room, and window is closer to his desk. I usually in the morning or sometimes when it is rain, I usually go to the window for opening and close. I see that the table mostly occupied books of similar automata, linear or non-linear, and along with there are a lot of books, literatures related to social crisis, common people problems, and sometimes the existence of ghost as well as God. So you will also listen to him. Lastly, I did not have to say anything more regarding the co-speaker, Professor Only. Some of us who has had opportunity to listen in many situations like the beauty of number system, number theory, prime numbers. I hope the new who are here will be definitely spellbound by way of presentation and talking. How the excellent, we had been fortunate to listen and how the in-depth mathematics is really in a very lucid manner is presented. So you will be having scope to listen to him. And finally, once again, Professor Jantum Kodhai also doesn't need any introduction or anything like that. What I would say, brilliant academic records, excellent researcher, teacher, successful man, professional research domain. And I think anybody who is working with image processing, pattern recognition, multimedia, signal processing, in Indian scenario at least I would say, who doesn't know the name, possibly some of us will see him or hear him in other platforms. I strongly believe that would also be excellent. So once again I take this opportunity to welcome all the dignitaries in the dais as well as to all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Maity, for the use of interacting more than sharing equals. So I'm right away inviting our beloved Vice Chancellor, Professor Roy, to inaugurate the session.
Distinguished professor of this university and one of the outstanding academicians of our country today. My colleague and also once upon a time student, very eminent teacher, and I am Professor Ajoy K Roy, who has come all the way from IIT to deliberate on this very important theme of the symposium, which I must say is so dear to my heart. When Professor Subhasis Bandyopadhyay, about 1 or 2 months back, when he talked about this seminar, I was really quite impressed. And in a university like this, I thought that there must be some success. Professor Shukant Das and Professor Subhasis Bandyopadhyay, they have conceived of this seminar on such a brilliant topic of real contemporary relevance at BESU, and I must thank them. And my colleagues, head of the department, IT, Professor SP Maity, who very regularly, in fact, organizes seminars in this room. My colleagues from IT department, from humanities department, from our Professor Bandyopadhyay, from biomechanics, from all the departments, and my very dear students. At the outset, let me say that the philosophy of science is a subject which I thought that it must be made one of the compulsory subjects of must be conversant. Because without understanding the history, the evolution, and the philosophy behind it, it will be very difficult for you to act in the future days as the leaders of technology. Now, going back to the the evolution process, it possibly has started almost more than 4.5 billions of years ago, from that cellular single cell life to this point, when human beings they came into this civilization. And if you just go through even a small modest history of the last, say, about 7 to 8,000 years of the modern man in India and also in contemporary world, you will find that the evolution it has taken place in a very interesting way. And to understand the philosophy, in my opinion, it is important to understand the evolution. The evolution it has taken place in a very non-linear. Non-linear way means if you just see that, say, in the first 1,000 years of this, say up to 1000 AD, and then from 1000 AD to 2000 AD, you just see the developments and even the biological evolution of man, you will find that there are changes. Again, if we just narrow down this time period, you will find the modern science when it came maybe 16th century. If we consider this history of 500 years of science, then the history of technology is just nothing. If you consider just the industrial revolution, it's hardly only hundreds of years, 200, 300 years, not more than that. So a very short span. Now, one of the interesting things that had been of interest to me for quite some time, that how the biological evolution this has taken place within these different time zones. Not many people throughout the globe, they are not working with it. But this is of immense importance, in my opinion, to understand how the things are going to take shape in the future. One of the things, that really comes to my mind is you just see that how science, it's not that before science we had also the scientific mind. During the Vedic period, if we see, there have been a lot of things. Even during the pre-Vedic eras, during in Harappa, Mohenjo-daro, or even before that, during the time when only cavemen were there, both in India and also in different countries, you will find that people they used to think in a very rational and scientific mind. But then the modern science we call, maybe that from 16th century onwards, in the last 500 years, a lot of new concepts have come. But then those have not been really translated that much to the technological domain. In many areas, technology came first because the people they were not knowing that what is the science behind that. Even let's take the very important spectrum, which is chemistry, in my opinion, by others. Now, in chemistry, if you just see, during the last, say, 3 decades, one very interesting information let me give you. That the global consumption of sulfuric acid, how much it is? It's very interesting. Just the global production of sulfuric acid today is almost 200 billion pounds of sulfuric acid is produced every year. Where does it go? The sulfuric acid, it goes in almost everything. Sulfuric acid in chemicals is one of the last almost 70-80 years. It is on top of the list of all the chemicals which are being used anywhere. And amongst all the scientific terminologies, the products of interest to humanity is possibly the core element. Sulfuric acid is one of those. And this sulfuric acid, it goes for whether it's extraction of the metals, it is so important for human civilization today. Sulfuric acid, possibly you may not be knowing, it is very largely used in the preparation of the fertilizers. How fertilizers are made sulfuric acid with, this simply lock this potassium, and then they react. What happens is in this fertilizer, it goes straight into the food soil. Suppose you have got rice, paddy, wheat. On the wheat itself, all the sulfur, all the sulfuric acid gets decomposed. And when we consume that, a large part of our DNA, the proteins we need, the biological systems, that is being now today controlled by the synthetic things that we have been producing over the last 200 years. Even during the British India, you may not be knowing, in 1910, 1912, Ajoy K Roy, he had set up the Bengal chemicals in 1890s, early 90s. It was not running well. But in 1910, 12, 13, before the First World War, he had set up that in Bengal chemicals, one of the major products was sulfuric acid. That's very important because sulfuric acid could not be transported from England. Acid, very corrosive. So, transporting it from years back, we were not involved or we were not interested to know about the biology and human mind. Today, in any of these discussions, these two are becoming extremely important to know more about how technology influences the biology of the system, of the human being, and what is the correlation between the biology or health, our mind, and mind is obviously, it has got a lot of other parameters in controlling. The interesting thing is, then if you just see the entire warfare, science, how much of it has been used for non-war or non-violent only for the progress of the humanity, and how much has been used just as a result of the technology, it has been used in quite largely for the warfare, which leads to cyanide. Looks like very simple, but just only maybe few milligrams will be enough to destroy